school year. At some point, we all need a little help to be the best version of ourselves. And that's no different when we are in a classroom ready to learn and ready to show what we know. Sometimes we need different kinds of supports, like we need to sit somewhere different in the classroom so we can see the board. Sometimes we need someone sitting beside us just to help us stay focused and pace ourselves so we can really help the teacher recognize what we know and are able to do. There's different supports available for all sorts of different reasons, for all sorts of different students in all sorts of different ways. And one of the things that I'm really proud of how we do here at SJF is supporting students. As I mentioned in our transition answer, we spend a lot of time talking to our feeder schools about learner needs, and we make sure we have the appropriate supports in place using the resources we have available to us to the greatest degree possible. We have an amazing team of educational assistants, teachers, support staff, learning support teachers, and admin who all wrap around kids to make sure that they have every opportunity to be as successful as possible. A lot of these supports are outlined in student individual support plans, behavior plans, transition plans, all sorts of documentation that comes along so we can learn from past experience how students learn best and make sure we have those same opportunities set up for them here. If the child needs supports, supports are available. We will work together as learning teams to make sure that we recognize what those supports are and come to a common understanding of how to best support students, not only to help them be as successful as possible, but to do so as independently as possible. Perhaps one of the greatest advantages we have here is also our laptop program, because that adds a level of assistive technology that is not found anywhere else in the division. Our students are incredibly well versed at how to access the adaptations that are inherent in those technologies. Readers, visual aids, all those kind of things are there for them at a click of the button, and we make that accessible to all students so that everyone can be as successful as possible. Although many of our students come to us with their learning needs really well identified and outlined and supports in place to help them do the best they can, sometimes when they get to middle school, things change a little bit. They might have done really well in elementary because that environment really matched their learning styles quite well, and just the slight differences or sometimes the big differences that they find when they get to middle school are just enough to put a little bit of a speed bump in their way. Maybe they start to struggle in ways that they didn't in elementary. When that happens, when teachers or parents or the students themselves begin to realize that, hey, they're not doing as well as we would expect them to, we have a very well thought out continuum of support in place that helps us identify what needs are not being met and access resources to make sure that those needs are met. That looks like lots of open communication with parents and guardians. That looks like team meetings amongst teachers to see what's working and what's not and how we can make changes to help what's not working become a little more effective. We can escalate responses as need be. If the things that we try here in-house at first don't succeed, we try again. We try something different. We never give up trying different strategies until that we are able to help students find the success that we would expect to have them achieve at the middle school level. Lots of times, just by what we do in class, doing that a little bit differently makes all the difference, but sometimes we need to dig a little bit deeper, and the division has those resources available for us as well. We can access learning teams and school psychologists to do even further assessments if need be, just to answer questions that allow us to focus resources and supports so that students are able to achieve the goals that are identified for them. But regardless, the one thing I want everyone to be clear on is that supports are available, and we will do everything in our power to help students achieve success.